All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
This is the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Good morning. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with my husband, fellow realtor, Pat Devaney.
Good morning, Jackie. How you doing today?
Great. How are you?
Good.
Getting ready for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm ready. How are you ready? You got everything done?
I've been ready.
I know.
Since August. Right. Yeah, believe that.
Yeah,
I guess.
right.
They
had the Christmas stuff out in October, so you should be ready.
It comes out earlier and earlier every year.
Terrible.
I can't stand it. We are with Bob Petrillo, owner of Total Inspection Solutions. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here with us. We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m. where we cover real estate topics. We have a full-time real estate office with many experienced realtors. We've been guiding, assisting, and advising clients in real estate matters for 50 years.
50 years. Wow. During the week, feel free to email us with any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com. Or you can give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you're at jruddy.com, click on the webcam tab, and you can see what's going on at Dunmore Corners. This time of the year, it's pretty interesting, except the sun goes down at 4:30, but that's okay.
Look us up on social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. View our listings, search the MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobile-friendly-jruddy.com, jruddy.com. Okay, Bob Petrillo, home inspector, owner of Total Inspection Solutions. Last week you were here, and a good portion of the show we spent on the topics of radon and wood-destroying insects, specifically termite infestation and damage, and so on and so forth. So this week we're going to continue our discussion about home inspections because there's a lot of things that you do. But before we dive into our conversation, why don't you tell me how long you've been doing this, what led you to the home inspection field, and where you go? What areas do you service?
Sure. Well, November was our 11th year in business. What led me to the home inspection field, I did have my own real estate license for a couple years. Wasn't really that great of a salesperson. I do have a construction background. I was in the U.S. Navy Seabees for 6 years. Then I got out and worked for several local contractors. So that was always in my background. And then we just went for all the certifications and got up and running in November of 2009.
And what areas do you go to?
We serve at least 5-county area: Lackawanna, Luzerne, Pike, Wayne. We've even gone up to Susquehanna County and the fringe aspects of Monroe County, Tobyhanna, Gouldsboro.
Wyoming
as well.
Okay, very good. Now, what home inspections do you provide as a home inspector?
Well, the company name is Total Inspection Solutions, so we do general structural home inspections. We do pest, wood-destroying insect inspections, the radon gas testing. We also offer well water testing as far as E. coli and coliform bacteria. And my son does work with me. He's a fully certified septic inspector.
All right, wonderful. So, last week, at the tail end of our show, we were talking about things that you cannot do as a home inspector. So if it's not a visible area, you cannot inspect it. You don't move sometimes furniture. If it's an occupied property, rugs, area rugs, you can't take down walls and you can't pull down ceilings. Pretty much. How about crawl spaces? Do you go into those areas?
We definitely go into crawl space areas that are accessible. There's certain crawl spaces that are just too small that, are not meant for human bodies. So we will do a visual inspection of those. But yeah, we inspect just about every aspect.
What about
of
roofs?
Roofs, we inspect all types of roofs. We do incorporate a drone when needed. But we have a standard of practice that we have to follow. And most people don't understand, like roofing. If the roof pitch is too great that maybe even a contractor would need a kicker to even stand on, we don't approach a roof. We do have 50 zoom cameras that I can zero in on a penny on a shingle if I needed to. So all roofs are inspected in some form or fashion. If needed, we will get up on top of a roof, yes.
Okay, so in an area where we typically receive some snowfall from October 1st till July 3rd, how do you inspect a roof that has snow on it?
Very carefully, actually. Well, obviously, we will not get on a roof that has any kind of snow or ice. But generally, there's some type of bare area that we may be able to see. One of the things we do, we'll tell people what type of roofing material is on the property, so that will give us an idea of maybe how old it is as well. And then we just literally do the best we can over anything that's visible.
Okay, because people buy homes 12 months a year, so if they didn't, we would be
right
seasonal, and we're not. We're working all the time through the holidays, long days, long nights, but weekends. You even do inspections over the weekends, right?
Yeah, we work right through Sunday. Saturday we do home inspections. On Sunday we don't actually do the physical part inspections, but that's done doing the computer work and picking up radon monitors that may be left behind.
So it's a 7-day-a-week business, just like real estate sales. Okay. So your reports that you do full reports. How many pages are your reports?
Well, the length of the report depends on the items found during the home inspection. We've done brand new construction reports that might be of 15 pages, and granted, some of that is like the cover page and the welcome letter and all that. But then we've done properties that, you walk into, they might be used for home inspection course 101, where everything that you can imagine is going on there. And you're looking around like
70?
Oh, yeah. I've done 70-page reports. Sure.
Okay. So 15 to 70
You take
pages.
pictures? There's all pictures?
Yeah. All of our reports are computerized. We take pictures. The software that I use inserts graphics of what you're talking about and basically gives you a recommendation of what's going on or what was found.
So I'm getting to what's your turnaround? So you have these lengthy reports. What a buyer wants the inspection. They have a time frame that they have to adhere to in the sales agreement. So how quickly from the day of inspection to the time that they receive a report? How many
Generally,
days?
I tell people 48 hours.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, this year, especially in the summer months after in the middle of the pandemic.
And you were slammed.
Real estate, I've never seen anything like it, like what happened this year.
Right, yeah.
Our turnaround time was not quite 48 hours. It was a little longer, sometimes 3 days.
How far were you booked out, too?
Oh, we were 2 weeks, sometimes more than 2 weeks.
And there's a 15-day usually, unless we change it. I mean, we're able to change that, but so there's usually a 15-day period where people have to not only perform their inspection, they have to have received the inspection report and requested any repairs needed.
And then you get some people that, although the real estate agent may say you need to call for a home inspection, they wait 2 or 3 days. Now that's gone too. So it usually a tight turnaround.
Tight. All right. Okay. So getting back to what you can and cannot inspect, swimming pools.
Yes, we do not inspect swimming pools. If you have an in-ground pool, obviously we'll inspect anything visible, a torn cover, a ripped or torn liner, a leak in your filter system, stuff like that. For actual swimming pool inspections, I always recommend somebody that does it for a living.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And, usually during the time that pools are open and then when they close, those companies are usually so booked with getting pools open and doing all the things that they don't usually have a lot of time to spare to do swimming pool inspections. It's been challenging.
Correct.
All right. Okay. What else? What can you do? What can't you do? Let's talk about during the home inspection process.
Sure, absolutely. Again, I mentioned before that we do have a standard of practice that we have to follow, and that covers the things we're allowed to do or not do. We're not allowed to move private possessions of current homeowners, furniture, bedding, anything like that. We're not allowed to move to look at a wall or a floor. Now, if there's something suspected, suspended ceiling, that may have a moisture stain, we are allowed to move the suspended ceiling block to see what's causing that moisture stain. If you have a drop ceiling in your basement and a client may say, what's above that? And you look up and there's no visible damage or moisture or nothing, we're not allowed to start moving ceiling blocks just to show him what's above it. Because if we move one block and the current homeowner did not put the drop ceiling up properly and everything comes crashing down, now it's upon us to repair that or have it repaired. And that's why we're just not allowed to do that.
What about utilities?
Utilities, well, it's imperative that utilities are up and running during the course of a home inspection.
Right. So a lot of times, and it's in our contracts, the utilities are off. So how do you inspect a property with shut off utilities?
Well, you see that a lot with foreclosed properties. Like the bank is not going to pay to have, utilities turned on. We do the best we can. We tell people all the time, at least try to have the electric on, because that's like the big safety aspect of a property. We need to know what's either working or not working, what's properly grounded or not properly grounded, where do we need the GFCI circuit interrupter outlets installed, or even just taking the cover off the panel to see what's up and running and what's not.
So say the utilities are on and the pilot light blew out. Are you allowed to light the pilot light?
We are not, because we have to assume that maybe the homeowner has the pilot light off for a reason, like a gas leak, something like that. If we go to light something and, God forbid something happens, now it's upon us again because, look, I had the pilot light off. You're the one who tried to light it. So we're not allowed to do that. It's hard to convince the client or inform the client that that's, the case. But we gladly come back whenever the homeowner or homeowner's representative can have the pilot light lit up. We'll gladly come back and finish the inspection. But at that point, we're not allowed to relight that, no.
Okay, so people have a lot of belongings usually in dry basements, storage areas that may, boxes might be stacked and it might cover meters and...
we find that a lot in attics, what pull down steps.
And attics, right. So you're not able to...
We do the best we can. Like up in an attic is a little different because you're not in danger of breaking a lamp or something. So we will push things aside to see the proper insulation, to maybe see if a bathroom exhaust fan is properly vented to the exterior, things like that. But generally speaking, in the living space of a property, no, we're not allowed to move anything.
So it'd be a good idea if someone's selling a home, an owner, they would make the proper pathways for you and a home inspector to be able to make your way to these foundation walls in the basement, electrical panels, that there's like clear access to these systems.
Yes, it'd be a very good idea if that was the case. Unfortunately, it is not always the case.
Right, exactly.
So we just do the best we can.
Right, okay. So what should people, buyers and sellers, expect during the home inspection? How long? And of course, it does depend on the size of the property, but just a basic, normal, everyday home, say 2,500 square feet.
And do you suggest that your client be with you during this inspection?
I always would like the client there at the inspection.
What about realtors?
Realtors are fine.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, generally, the way I like to tell them, it's easier to be at the inspection and actually see what we're pointing out to you than be home and open up one of our reports where you have this big picture glaring at you and it looks nastier than it is. You know what I mean? Like if you're there, we can explain what it is and how an electrician could easily fix something or whatever. But then when you're not there and you see it in a picture, sometimes it's just a little more shocking than it really should be.
Okay, so what should people expect during the home inspection process?
Well,
how long does it take, and what are you doing while
again,
you're there?
the time depends on the size of the property and what services are involved. General home inspection, where we're just doing the structural inspection, maybe a termite inspection and a radon test, is 2 hours or less, depending on the size of the property. Now, if you're buying a property in one of our rural areas that has a well and septic, expect a little bit longer because those items are, checked as well.
Okay. And what do you do? Are you opening refrigerators? Are you turning on ovens? Are you running the washer if it's included? How far do you go with your home inspection? Are you putting up and down every window, checking every outlet for reverse polarity? What
Yes.
do you do?
We have a checklist that we cover. That's exactly what we check: the roofing, anything on the exterior of the property, including porches, decks, window frames, siding, anything on the exterior. We do the structure, such as the outside foundation, the parging, any structure related to the porches or decks, the inside basement foundations, the floor joist, proper columns and beams. We do anything related to the electric. We take the cover off the panel, check out all the breakers, make sure there's proper wiring used, make sure there's no double taps involved where there's more than one black wire per breaker. We've been finding that quite often. A homeowner may run out of room in his panel, and he wants to add electric to his sunroom or something, and he has all these outlets double tapped, which double taps are not good or could not be good. Sometimes they're acceptable, but so we check for ground fault outlets, make sure they're installed anywhere on the exterior or near the water, bathrooms or kitchen sinks. Every single outlet in the house is tested to make sure it's properly grounded. On the interior, every wall, ceiling, and floor is looked at. Every window is opened. Make sure there's no cracks. Doesn't slam shut when you open it up. Basically, like, we're covering the whole property for you to make sure everything is up and running when you buy it.
Okay, so COVID-19 restricted how many people could be in a property at one time. For realtors, it was 3, including the realtor.
Right.
So is it the same for home inspections?
It was in the middle of the pandemic. It all depends which time frame you were talking about. In the beginning, the governor only wanted 3 people in the house. Then it expanded a little bit. Now it's like, as long as everyone is wearing a mask covering, like we wear them all the time during our inspections, whether the client is or not, or the seller is or not, we have ours on. It's just something that they want us to do, so we do.
Okay, so when the owners are there, are they, sometimes, I'm sure that this is their home and they feel like their space is being invaded, although they do on some level understand that this is the course that has to take place in order for them to sell the home. Do you ever get into that, situation where maybe they are
disputing what you're saying?
There you go, disputing what you're saying.
Unfortunately, there is those occasions where now we understand you're going into someone else's home. It's their home. You're talking about their home to some other people, and they take things personally sometimes.
Sure.
They think you're ripping their home apart.
They think you're making a big deal about something that's really not a big deal. And really, our job is just to point out things that may need repair or upgrading because some of the current building standards have changed. So that's really all it's about. But yes, there are times where the homeowner is following us.
Any stories you want to share? Recently?
We recently did a property in Mid-Valley. The property we already discussed last week, the termite issue.
So there were mud tubes. Mud tubes are like little tubes. They look like veins on top of wood molding or something like that, right?
The word several doesn't cover it. There was more than several mud tubes throughout the basement area and even up into some of the sidewall areas.
Wow.
I did have a homeowner call me up after the inspection and say, they removed some of the mud tubes with a screwdriver and they didn't see any live insects present. I'm like, we don't cover that part. Like, we discovered that there's problems. Now it's up to the pest control company to come and tell you whether there's live insects present. I mean, if we see live termites, we will tell you. But we don't go looking. We don't do what the homeowner did and dissect tubes. We look at the damage that's done, the areas that are damaged, and we report on that and tell you further evaluation is needed by a proper pest control company. If the damage looks structural at time of inspection, we will also say that either a contractor or if it's severe enough that an engineer may need to be brought in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's always someone with that opposing viewpoint, right? So,
right.
Yeah.
Again, you're talking about their house and they're taking it personally.
Right.
So that's totally understandable to me.
So you come into my house and you find that I have knob and tube wiring, and you disclose that to the potential buyers, and I say, well, there's been no problems with it forever. I've been living here for 50 years.
And that happens quite often. And again, we never get into any kind of back and forth verbal with a seller. It's just not done. We just say, okay, thanks, or something like that. But knob and tube wiring in Northeast Pennsylvania is very prevalent. And we tell people, really, if the wiring is not, knob and tube now we're talking, if the wiring is not damaged or frayed in the basement area, it's really just an ungrounded wire, and replacing the outlet with a GFCI outlet, or even using the power strips that would be sufficient as long as you're not using it for appliances such as televisions. Then you might need somebody to come in and upgrade the actual wiring for that outlet or whatever. But again, we tell people what it is, further evaluation needed by a licensed electrician. We are not allowed to tell people how to fix something. God forbid we tell them all you need to do. Perfect example. This has happened to us in the past, several years ago. Reverse polarity outlets. All that is when a grounded outlet has the hot wire and the neutral wires crossed. They're just hooked on the wrong spots of the individual receptacles. All that needs to be done is the wires cross back. If you don't tell people, like, we're not allowed to tell people how to do that. Reason being is, if the homeowner forgets to kill the power before he tries to do that,
oh dear God,
and gets shocked, and he'll come back and say, "But Bob told me all I had to do. He never said anything about." Well, did I really have to say that? But you know what I mean. So we're not allowed.
That's like the McDonald's coffee,
Right. Don't spill it because it's hot.
right?
It's hot.
So anything that we do, we tell people, get a licensed electrician, contractor, whatever. So that does not happen in the past, because we can't assume everybody, common sense sometimes is not so common.
Bob Petrillo, owner of Total Inspection Solutions. How does someone get in touch with you?
Company phone number is 570-335-4073. We do have a website, totalinspectionsolutions.com. And our company email address is totalinspectionsolutionsllc@gmail.com.
Pat?
Yes, we have a gorgeous 4-bedroom, 2-bath home. It's at 2402 North Washington Avenue in Scranton for $259,000. This is a classic beauty, and it's in the Marywood section of Greenridge, which got beautiful hardwood floors, wooden columns and molding. It has an enclosed front porch, a double-sided staircase. It's got a built-in vault, which is really cool. This house has a heated sunroom, a wood-burning fireplace, custom kitchen cabinets. It's got a large master bedroom and a second-floor balcony off the 3rd bedroom. It also has a newer roof and a freshly painted cedar exterior and a 2-car garage. That's a gorgeous 4-bedroom, 2-bath home at 2402 North Washington Avenue in Scranton for $259,000, and that's listed by Debbie Colhut of our office.
Stay with the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21, Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. We'll be back after a very brief break.
Who are Century 21 agents? They're high-tech gizmo-packing problem solvers with an appetite for getting things done. They know the best places to buy a home, to sell a home, and to find antiques, if you're into that kind of thing. They're weatherproof, foolproof, and proof positive that smart people doing good work can make big things happen for great folks like you. Oh, and there's one nearby. This is who they are. This is what they do. Century 21 agents. Smarter, bolder, faster. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Hi, this is Jackie Ruddy from Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Is real estate on your mind? It's on ours 24/7. Whether you're buying, selling, investing, or in need of an appraisal, you have questions, we have answers.
Thinking of buying or selling a house and have questions? Tune in to the Real Estate Roundtable, hosted by locally owned and operated Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday mornings at 11:30.
Call 570-344-6724 or visit jruddy.com. That's JRUDDY.com. We're back with more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with my husband, fellow realtor Pat Devaney.
And we're back learning a lot about home inspections.
Yes, we're with Bob Petrillo, owner of Total Inspection Solutions. Having a great conversation with you today, Bob, and last week too. So we want to know, have you ever had a harrowing experience while inspecting a home?
Well, we already mentioned the areas of the properties that we inspect, and one of them we brought up was a crawl space. So we were hired to do a property inspection at Pocono Country Place, similar to the Hideout, and half the properties, at least half, maybe more, are built over a crawl space. So we pull up in front of the property, and there's several people standing outside, and I know there was only one person buying the property. Some of them were neighbors. So we get in and we do the outside of the property, and this crawl space had an access panel inside the property in the floor of the closet. So I wish I did the crawl space first, but we didn't. We did the whole house first because I didn't want to bring any kind of debris or dirt up into the property. So the buyer says to me, the neighbor says this is a foreclosed property because the homeowner purposely walked away because the bank sold him a bad property. He says the foundation is falling apart. And we already did the exterior inspection. We did not see any evidence of anything like that. So I said, okay, we'll definitely check it out when it comes time to do the foundation. Normal issues inside the property, electrical, window was damaged, whatever. So now we're there an hour and a half. I'm doing the crawl space inspection. Go down the little makeshift ladder that they have. I'm underneath the property. Now, crawl spaces have different building codes that apply compared to basements. It has the proper insulation. It had the vapor barrier on the ground, everything. But on top of the vapor barrier, they had gravel. So the crawl space was low enough that I couldn't crawl on my knees because the gravel, even with my pads on, was tearing me up. So I'm kind of walking like a duck in the crawl space. And they have a little makeshift wall built. So in order to see the whole foundation, I literally have to walk the whole foundation. I can't cut through the middle or whatever. And the issue that they were talking about is at the end of, obviously. So it literally takes me 15 minutes to walk the way I was walking to get to the other side. And when I get there, they have this big plastic sheet pulled over the front foundation of the house. Now, it was a masonry block foundation. Everything else was going smooth down there. I still haven't found evidence that there was a problem. So I get over there. Now I'm crouched down like a duck. I have my camera in one hand. I'm lifting up the plastic paper with my left hand. And as soon as I lift it up, I'm like, oh my God, like half of this foundation is not even present anymore. It's gone. It's masonry block. Where the heck could this have gone? And it's just disintegrated. So I'm like, I have to get a closer look. I put the camera down, lift it up with both hands, and I'm looking, and I don't really see much. So I said, let me turn the flash on the camera and just start. So I start snapping pictures. And I put the plastic back down, and I'm looking at some of the pictures. I'm like, this is metal rebar. Who puts metal rebar in where the masonry block should be? Why is this here? So I picked the plastic back up to get a closer look. I reached for my flashlight, and when I shined the light, it was not metal rebar. It was thousands of snakes on the foundation of the property. Thank God when they saw the light from the flashlight, they went the other way. Like, I'm talking a lot of, and they were the ones responsible for the decay of the foundation. Then I realized there's no foundation in the corner of this house, and I'm underneath it. So it's time to get out. And I made my way back again. I'm walking as fast as I can.
No, you're running.
Anybody, there was no running. Anybody that thinks, do it right now in your living room. Get down like a duck and try to walk as fast as you can. It's not easy. So literally I made it up, and I showed them the pictures and told them what happened. And again, I wish I did it first, because as soon as they saw that, they said, we don't want this. They backed right out. Because, it was a foreclosure, and banks do not fix much in foreclosure.
They don't fix snakes?
No, they're not going to. But, yeah, when I saw those snakes, that's the one thing most people, snakes will turn your skin a little bit. So, and there was a lot of snakes.
Wow. Yeah,
should put that on a website.
No, that's...
Bob Petrillo, owner of Total Inspection Solutions. How does someone get in touch with you, please?
The company phone number is 570-335-4073, or our email address, totalinspectionsolutionsllc@gmail.com.
Thank you, Bob. Remember to tune in next Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m. to listen to more of the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 The Talker.
Merry Christmas.